Hello friends, welcome back in my another lecture in a series of lecture in probability and statistics. This is lecture number 7. As this lecture is in continuation to the previous one, so here I am going to solve various problems on Bayes theorem, and afterward we will discuss random variable, discrete random variable, then density function followed by distribution function for discrete random variable. So before starting to solve a problem with the help of Bayes theorem, one must know or to identify how to identify the events e1, e2, e1, e2, e3, so on of a sample space S. Then one more event A for the same sample space. So let's start here. Problem number 1. Bag 1 contains 3 red and 4 black balls, while another bag 2 contains 5 red and 6 red black balls. One ball is drawn at random from one of the bag and it is found to be red. Find the probability that it was drawn from bag 2 or it was drawn from bag 1. So first of all, identify how many events e1, e2 will be there. Since there are only two bags, so two events will be there, e1 and e2. Let e1, e2 be the events that selecting bag 1 and bag 2 respectively. Alright. Next, because we have to draw one ball from one of the bag and it is found to be red, so let A be the event that drawing a red ball. So here here probability of e1 and probability of e2, this will be equal, because there is 50% chance for selecting bag 1 and bag 2. 50% chance means 1 by 2. This is clear from here. Next, probability of A when event E1 has occurred. This we need. Now what we have to find here? We have to find the probability that it was drawn from bag 2. Bag 2 means it was drawn from bag 2 means E2, and what I drawing from bag 2? Red ball. Red ball means A. We have to find this one, as well as it was drawn from bag 1 means E1 slash A, red ball. We have to find these two probabilities. So clear, we can use Bayes theorem. So we need P of A E1 and P of A E2. A means drawing a red ball and E1 means E1 is bag 1, so drawing a red ball from bag 1. So there are three options. Favorable outcomes are 3 for this, and total outcomes are 7, because bag 1 total balls 7 and bag 2 total balls 11. Similarly, red ball is drawn and it is drawn from bag 2, red ball. So favorable outcome for this 5 and total outcomes are 11. So this is clear, right, from the given data. Therefore by Bayes theorem, first of all we have to find probability of e2 slash a. As we know from previous lecture, if you put I is equal to 2 in the general formula for Bayes theorem, this will come out to be probability of e2 into probability of a when e2 has already occurred, divided by two terms will be there because two events are there, p of e1 into p of a when e1 has already occurred. Similarly, p of e2 plus into p of a when e2 has already occurred. This is product. So clear. Substituting all of these probabilities are given or evaluated here. On substituting these values, this will come out to be 35 upon 6 8. All right. So second is this one, probability of e1 slash a. Now this will be e1, p of e1, p of a slash e1, again two terms, p of e1, p of a when e1 has already occurred, plus p of e2 into p of a when e2 has already occurred. Again substituting the values of all of these probability from here 1 2 3 4, this will come out to be 33 upon 6 A. So this is the probability that red ball drawn from bag 2 and red ball drawn from bag 1. This is B part and this is A part. Now come to the second question. In answering a question, multiple choice test, student either knows the answer or guesses. Let 3 by 4 with the probability that he knows the answer and 1 by 4 with the probability that he guesses. Assuming that student who guesses that the answer will be correct with probability 1 by 4, what is the probability that student knows the answer and given that answer is correctly? First of all, identify the events E1, E2. Because multiple student either knows the answer and guesses. Let E1 with the event the student know the answer and E2 with the event the student guesses the answer. All right. And what should be A is the event that answer is correct. You can see here answer is correct. So A with the probability that event that answer is correct. Therefore, probability of E1 means student know the answer and this probability is given 3 by 4. E2 student guesses the answer and this probability is also given 1 by 4. Both are given. All right. Next, what we have to find? We have to find probability of student knows the answer and given that answer is correctly. Knows the answer means we have to find E1 slash A. Knows the answer is E1 and answer is correct means A. We have to find this probability. So what we need next? We need P of A slash E1 and P of A slash E2 means probability of A when event E1 has already occurred and E2 has already occurred. What does this mean? Answer is correct and he knows the answer. Answer is correct and E1 means he knows the answer. So this is sure event. Sure and event, as we know, probability of sure event is always 1. Answer is correct and he guesses the answer. He guesses the answer and probability for guesses the answer is 1 by 4 and this probability is 1 by 4. This is given. Therefore, by Bayes theorem, we have to find probability of E1 slash A1. Sorry, exactly this one. So this is P of E1, P of A when E1 has already occurred divided by P of E1, P of A when E1 has occurred plus P of E2 into P of A when E2 has already occurred. Now substituting the values of all of these probability from here and here, this will come out to be 12 upon 13. This can be easily calculated from here. This is a simple mathematics. Now come to the third question. This is the third question. Let the chances that the doctor will diagnose a disease X correctly 60% and the chances that patient will die by his treatment after correct diagnosis is 40% and the chance of death by wrong diagnosis is 70%. Patient of Dr. A who has disease X died. What is the chance that his disease was diagnosed correctly? So first of all, let's identify the events E1, E2 followed by A, because patient is either diagnosed correctly or incorrectly. This is obvious, two options are there. So let E1 with the event that disease X is diagnosed correctly and E2 with the event that disease X is not diagnosed correctly, and A with the event that patient having disease X died, because patient died. So this is the event A. Right? What is the chance that his disease was diagnosed correctly? So what probability we have to find? Disease is diagnosed correctly means E1 and patient died, because patient having disease, this event has already occurred. So we have to find this probability. Here P of E1, P of E means diagnosed correctly. This is 60%, 60% given. So this is 0.6, 60 by 100. This probability is given what will be probability of E2? This is just opposite of this one, so this will be 1 minus P of E1. Using formula, this P of A plus P of not A will be equal to 1. Because of this one, this will be 0.4, 1 minus 0.6, this will be 0.4. Also, P of A, patient died and is diagnosed correctly. Patient died, he is not diagnosed correctly. Patient died and he is diagnosed correctly. Correct diagnosis, and this probability is given to be 40%. 40% means this is 0.4, and this probability is given. Patient died and he is not diagnosed correctly. So this probability is again given 70. This is also given 70%. So this is 0.7 again given. All the probabilities these are given, and this E2 is just opposite of this one. Therefore, by Bayes theorem, we have to find probability of disease is diagnosed correctly and patient died. So this is P of E1 into P of A when E1 has already occurred, divided by P of E1 into P of A when E1 has already occurred. That will be only two terms in denominator, P of E2 into P of A when E2 has already occurred. Now just substitute the values of all of these probability from here and this one, and this will come out to be 6 upon 13. Just substitute these values and simple calculation. All of these probabilities are given here. So this is the probability that patient disease is diagnosed correctly and patient had died already. Now come to the fourth question. This is fourth question. Let A and B are two weak students of statistics, and their chances of solving a problem in statistics correctly are 1 by 6, 1 by 8 respectively. If the probability of their making a common error is this one, 1 upon 5 to 5, and they obtain the same answer, find the probability that their answer is correct. So first of all, let's identify the events E1, E2, etc. and event A. So when two persons are solving a problem of statistics, there are three options. First option is both A and B solve the problem correctly. Second option is exactly one of them solve the problem correctly, and third option is neither of them solve the problem correctly. So let E1 be the event that both solve the problem correctly, E2 be the event that one of them solve the problem correctly, and E3 be the event that neither of them solve the problem correctly, and A be the event that they get the same answer, they obtain the same answer. This is A, they obtain the same answer. So here, what is probability of even? Probability of even means both are solving the problem correctly, and these two will be independent events. Independent events means because both are solving the problem independently. So what are these probability? Probability of A and B solving problem is 1 by 6. This probability is given to be 1 by 6, and this is given to be 1 by 8. So this will come out to be 1 upon 48, because P of A and P of B are given. This is 1 by 6 and this is 1 by 8. Alright. Now second is, we need now P of E2. What is P of E2? Because exactly one of them solve the problem correctly. Exactly one of them means if A is solving, B is not solving, and second option is or means plus. So second option is if A is not solving, then B is solving the problem, because both are solving the problem independently. So these events will be also independent. This can be written as P of A, P of not B, plus P of not A, P of B. Just substitute the values. P of A 1 by 6, not B, from here just opposite of this 1 minus 1 by 8, not A, opposite of this 1 minus 1 by 6, B is 1 by 8. This can be easily seen from here, and which on simplification will come out to be 12 upon 48. Alright. Now third is E3, probability of E3. Now come to this one, probability of E3, P of E3. E3 means neither of them solve the problem correctly. This will be not A and not a B, because A, B are independent. So these events will be also independent. This is not A and this is not a B. These probability are not A is just opposite of A. So this is 1 minus 1 by 6 and not B means just opposite of a B, as P of A and P of B are given. 1 minus 1 by 8, and which upon simplification will give us 35 upon 48. Alright, and further, so we have evaluated E1, E2, E3. Next, what we need? We need P of A when E1 has occurred, A when E2 has occurred, and A when E3 has already occurred. So what does this mean? A, they get the same answer and both solve the problem correctly. So this is sure event. This is sure event because A means they get the same answer and both solve the problem correctly. Sure event probability is always 1. They get the same answer and exactly one of them solve the problem correctly. This is next to impossible. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. So तो आपके पास क्या है? This is impossible event. This is impossible event. Alright, so this probability will be 0 because probability impossible event is 0. Third is they get the same answer and neither of them solve the problem correctly, and this probability is given. You can see here the probability of their common error. Common error means they are solving the problem incorrectly and by default they are getting the same answer. So this is given 1 upon 525. This probability is given. Alright, and what we have to find? We have to find probability that answer is correct and they obtain the same answer. Answer is correct and they obtain the same answer means answer is correct means both are solving the problem correctly and they get the same answer. P of E1 slash A. Both are solving the problem correctly and they are getting the same answer. We have to find this one probability. Therefore, by Bayes theorem, P of E1 slash A, this will be P of E1 into P of A when E1 has already occurred. This time there will be 3 terms in denominator. P of E1, A when E1 has already occurred, E2, A when E2 has already occurred, E3 because 3 events are there, E3, A when event E3 has already occurred, and just substitute the values of all of these probability because E1, E2, E3 we have evaluated and these are also evaluated, and this on simplification will come out to be 15 upon 16 because all of these probability we have just evaluated. Alright, so this will be the probability that they get the same answer and problem is solved correctly and they get the same answer. Now fifth question is, man speak truth 4 out of 5 times. He throw a die and report that it is a 6. Find the probability that it is actually a 6. So let's first of all identify the events. Let E1 be the event that man speak truth. Though 2 options are there, either he speak truth or tell a lie. E2 be the event that tells a lie, and A be the event that he report a 6. He report a 6. Since we know sample space for throwing a die is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is sample space for throwing a die. Therefore, probability of E1, he speak truth because he speak 4 out of 5 times truth. Favorable outcome 4, total 5. This is given. P of E2, this is tell a lie means just opposite of this one. 1 minus P of E1, and which upon simplification will come out to be 1 upon 5. Just substitute the value of E1 here. Alright. Similarly, P of A E1, this we need. P of A E2, this we need. And but we have to find probability that man speak truth. Find the probability that it is actually a 6. Actually a 6 means he speaks truth and he report a 6. And this probability we have to find. he speak actually a 6 means he speak truth and he report a 6. What is this one? Man report 6 and he man speak truth and he a man report 6 and he speak truth. So this is, it means he's actually getting a 6. So favorable outcome for getting 6 is 1. This is clear from a favorable outcome 1 and total outcomes 6. Alright, this can be easily seen from here. Man report a 6 and he tells a lie. It means it is just opposite of this one because he is telling a lie. So 1 minus p of a even, this will be 1 minus 1 by 6. So 5 by 6. This can be easily evaluated from here. Alright, therefore by Bayes theorem we have to find probability of even when event A has already occurred. So this is P of even into P of A when event A has already occurred. This time there will be only two terms in the denominator, E1 and E2. E1 A when event E1 has already occurred, E2 A when event E2 has already occurred. Now substitute the values of all of these probability, P of E1, P of E2, AE1, AE2, E1, E2, AE1, E2. All probabilities are given and we have just evaluated, and which on simplification will come out to be 4 by 9. So this is the probability that man speak a truth even and it is actually a 6 and he report a 6. So we have learned, so far we have learned how to use the Bayes theorem in actual problem. So next is random variable. Random variable means random variable is a real valued function whose domain is set of outcomes of a sample space. Set of domain means this type of real valued function is defined for outcomes of a sample space, and that will be a random experiment. So what is random experiment? For example, if we toss a coin, sample space will be head tail. All right, so outcomes are head and tail. So random variable is a real function which is defined for these outcomes head and tail. So let us suppose tossing a coin, sample space is this, and x is a random variable. So we can define x a random variable by a random variable, and it is usually denoted by x. Random variable is usually denoted by x. So tossing a coin, sample space is this, and x is a random variable getting head. We can suppose either x is a random variable getting head and x is a random variable getting tail. So x can take values 0 or 1 maximum, because we are tossing coin only one time. 0 and 1 means we are getting no head, and 1 means we are getting one head. Similarly, we can define x is a random variable getting tail. Alright, note random variable x can take any real value, so its range or code domain is set of real number, and that is all the values in this range. Real number means, so random variable, it always lies in this range. All right, more than one random variable can be defined on the same sample space. This, for example, tossing a coin, sample space is head and tail. All right, so let x be a random variable getting head and by be a random variable getting tail. So therefore x can take value clear 0 1, by can also take value 0 and 1. X take value 0 1 means we are getting no head and we are getting one tail. We are getting no tail, we are getting one tail. Similarly, we can define random variable for tossing 2 coins, tossing 3 coins, tossing 4 coins, and so on, throwing a die one time, throwing a pair of die. So accordingly we will get random variable. So on the same sample space, this we are defining more than one random variable. This is all about the note 2. Note number 3. A random variable that takes on finite, means which can be easily counted, or countably infinite number of values is called as is called as discrete random variable. Discrete random variable which take either finite value or countably infinite. Finite is clear, which can be easily counted, and countably infinite means set A, this will be countably infinite. Set A countably infinite if the function f from set of natural number to set A such that f is 1 1 and onto. F is 1 1 and onto. So any set A will be countably infinite if there exists a function f from set of natural number to set A such that this function is 1 1 and onto. 1 1 means different element of this set have different images, that is x1 x2 belongs to n and x1 is different from x2. Different element have different image, then f of x1 will be not equal to f of x2. I am taking two elements from first set n, x1 x2, and these are different elements. So f of x1 means f of x1 will belongs to set A. So this is image of x1 under f and this is image of x2 under f. So f of x1 and f of x2 belongs to second set A. So different element have different image, and onto means there exists every element of second set A are associated with the have at least one image of the first set, this one first set, and that means every element of this set A is the image of at least one element of set n. All right, that means onto. Yeah, or we can say range of this function f will be equal to code domain, that is set A. All right, so that means onto. This is for onto. So onto means either simply range of this set, this function will be equal to second set, or every element of this second set A will appear as image of at least one element of set n, that means onto. So if these f is 1 1 and onto, then set A will be countably infinite. So what is simply discrete? So simply discrete random variable means which takes on finite values. Discrete probability distribution. Let x be a discrete random variable, then probability distribution of x is system of number. Discrete random variable means which takes on finite value. So set of numbers x taking values x1 x2 x3 so on continue, and p of x means having this is the probability of x1, probability of x2, probability of random variable x3 and so on, this one, such that all of these probabilities are greater than or equal to 0, and sum of all of these probability will be equal to 1. Whatever these probabilities, sum of all these must be equal to 1. The two conditions are there. All of these probability must be non-negative and sum of all these must be equal to 1. So note number 1, what are x1 x2 xn? So real numbers x1 x2 x3, these are the possible values of random variable x, values of random variable x. Also pi or p1 p2 pi. Also pi means this is probability of random variable x taking value xi. For example, p1 is probability of random variable x taking value x1, and p3 is probability of random variable x taking value x3, and this can be also denoted by p of xi or p of xi. All of these are same notations. All right. Note number 2, it is convenient to introduce probability function, probability distribution function, probability density function, or simply density function. All of these are similar notations, right? Exact notation is given by p of x is equal to small x is equal to f of x, where f of x is greater than or equal to 0 and sum of all these f of x is equal to 1, where summation is taken over possible values of x. All right, so this is simple. This is just like this one. Instead of pi, I am writing here simple f. All right, so density function is always denoted by small f. This is either density function, probability distribution function, or probability density function. All right, distribution function. Let x be a random variable. This is any random variable. Then distribution function or cumulative distribution function for x is defined as, it is denoted by capital F of x, capital F of x, and equal to probability that capital X is less than or equal to x. All right, here small x lies in this range, means small x is a real number, it lies in this range. All right, so capital F is a notation for distribution function where small x belongs to random variable capital X. All the distribution functions are monotonically non-decreasing, and lies in this range. That is, it means f of x is less than or equal to f of by for x less than or equal to by. Non-decreasing means this is an increasing, and monotonically means some values may be equal. All right, I will give you example. And lies between 0 and 1, and lies between 0 and 1 means f of x lies in this range 0 and 1. I will give you example of a monotonically non-decreasing series. For example, 1 2 2 3 4 5 5 5 6 7 8 and so on continue. This is a example of monotonically non-decreasing. Means increasing series monotonically means some value may be equal, but these are in increasing order. Just like you can see here, some values are equal, 5 5 5. All right, so this is monotonically non-decreasing series. All right, and further note number 2, lower limit of f of x will be equal to 0, however x small x may be, x approaches to minus infinity, because lower limit is clearly 0, and upper limit of f of x is equal to 1, however large x may be, means x is approaching infinity, very very large, so upper limit will be always 1, and f of x is continuous from right. That is, it means limit of f of x plus h when x approaches to 0 from right side will be equal to f of x for all x. This means f is continuous from right, x is approaching 0 from right side. So distribution function is always denoted by capital F, and density function is always denoted by small f. Must remember. Now finally in this lecture, distribution function for discrete random variable. So let x be a discrete random variable, right, which takes on finite value. Then distribution function for capital X is defined as, it is denoted by capital F and defined as, this definition already we know, just, and this will be further equal to summation p of f of xi, and which is further equal to summation p of I, because these notations are similar as we know from the probability distribution function. All right, so I'm going to draw a graph here. Consider two mutually perpendicular straight lines. All right, in horizontal direction this is x, means a random variable x, and in vertical direction this is distribution function capital F of x, and these are the, let us suppose this is x1, x2, and this is x3, this is x4, and so on continue. All right, let me make first of all so what is the shape of this graph? This is like stair, this is a step function. So graph of f of x is a step function, having jump. So what is this jump? This jump is called as P1, this is P2, this is P3, and this is P4. So clearly the graph of f of x for discrete random variable, x belongs to discrete random variable, is a step function, having jump pi at xi and being constant, we will see, and is constant between each pair of integers. This is here. This is a step function like steer, and having jump p1 at x1, jump p2 at x2, jump p3 at x3. So generally jump pi at xi and being constant between each pair of integer. You can see here between these two integers this is constant, because constant means f of x is constant because f of x increases in vertical direction. So horizontal direction this is fixed. So this is being constant between each pair of integer. You can see between x1, x2, 2, 3, 3, 4. All right. So this is constant. So this is all about distribution function. So what we have learned in this lecture, how to solve or use Bayes theorem in an actual problem. Then we come to know that what is distribution function, what will be its range, and then we can define more than one random variable on the same sample space. Then we come to know about discrete random variable, then density function, then distribution function. All right, so density function. So what is the difference between this one? Density, one is density function, we have done this for discrete random variable, and next is a distribution function for discrete random variable. So density function is always denoted by small f and distribution function is always denoted by capital F. We have done density function and distribution function for a discrete random variable. All right, so this is all about this lecture. Thank you.